Take it away.
Where should I start? Should I just?
Tell people about your new
Oh,
campaign for a calendar.
yeah. So okay. So I'm working on a new calendar idea, and those who are like friends with me on Instagram may have already seen the first couple. So basically, when my partner and I took a little Colorado road trip in July, I started doing this thing where when we would hike somewhere really beautiful, we would find like the most beautiful spot for a picture we could, and then I would take a picture there where I would make a face where I look very unimpressed, very underwhelmed, and I would also have my thumb down. So I'd be given the thumbs down with like a very annoyed, underwhelmed face, and people who know me know that my face is very gifted in that way. It's very easy for me to look underwhelmed and disappointed and annoyed. So it's really in my wheelhouse, and so we ended up taking a bunch. I've only shared a couple, but we ended up taking a bunch on that trip, and then I took another one this weekend. We went on a hike at a new place and took a new one. And so we had this idea over the summer that I should do a full calendar of these. I should have like a full 12 months, and have the hikes match the seasons, and just have me going to all of these beautiful nature places and doing a version of this picture. And I have to say, I was saying this to the guys right before we started recording, that I feel like I have finally found my purpose in life. For many years, I thought it was about being a trumpet player. And for the last several years, I was like, may not be trumpet specifically, but it's definitely about music. My life's has to do with music, right? But now I'm like, you know what? Maybe my purpose is actually just to take thumbs down pictures at the most beautiful places in the world. And I love this for so many reasons. Number one, because I have truly always been underwhelmed by nature. Everyone always thinks that I'm like doing a bit and that I'm just like trying to be a contrarian. But that's not true. I am just unimpressed. Everyone else gets so horny about fucking nature, and I've always just been like, yeah, it's fine. It's like it's a mountain. I mean, it's you can see mountains anywhere. Like just do a Google image search. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like close enough. Or like, yeah, it's a lake. It's a lake in the mountains. It's a river. It's a desert. Whatever the fuck. It's fine. So I feel like I've really found my purpose, and it feels good. It feels really good. Um, and I love the idea of, so I kind of really want to do this. I kind of want to like travel the world and do this. And one of the things that makes me so happy about it is people take nature so seriously. It's like truly sacred to them. It reminds me of when I used to like shit all over religion in high school and college. And I'm an iconoclast. I love to shit on the things that people hold dear because I don't believe that anything is sacred. I think the universe is a big, random, terrible mess, and nothing is sacred. And so I love the idea of going all over the world and doing these pictures, and just people being like so offended by it, like really deeply. That's extremely amusing to me. So like when we take these pictures, Yulia has to do several takes because I'll start like smiling and cracking up because I can't even do the annoyed face because I'm having so much fun. So anyways, that's my new project. So keep
We'll
keep
get
your
the
eyes out.
Kickstarter going and
Yeah, that's right.
raising some money so we can
Yep.
print these babies and
Uh-huh.
get them out.
I'll
Maybe
be
for
a
the
seed investor.
holidays.
I'll help get them printed. I'm trying to think of the analog though, like Ethan, like Mahler's Second Symphony is great, and I'd love but why do I want to go to a concert hall and hear the Cleveland Orchestra play? I could just hear like a MIDI generator play it on the internet. Like,
Yeah, that is a good analog. That is a good analog, and you chose the perfect piece. Mahler 2 is like my favorite piece of all time, but I'm still just like, yeah, to each their own. I get it. Like I wouldn't necessarily, not that's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. It's fine.
Why do I want to hear Banjo Dave play great Tramp by Turtles tasty licks when I could just have, some guy on the street corner busking do a terrible job playing this song in a place that's going to sound absolutely shitty. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. No, that's good too.
and I didn't even
It's not
I
going
didn't
to
even go
offend
like,
me.
you know, Red Rocks. Yeah, it's just some rocks, right? Like it doesn't sound great or anything. Like,
Just a rock.
I mean, that's true though. It is just red rocks. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's like you can see red rocks in a lot of places out here. Like, I get that. I think it's a special place to see a concert, but also it's a lot of effort. Like, it's a lot of work. Honestly, if you have like a state of the art like sound system and really good headphones, just fucking stay at home with like a joint and a glass of wine. Honestly, so I feel that, you know.
I was trying to think of the most like
No, those are good.
core
Those are
ethos.
perfect. Yeah, no, but like the thing is like, yeah, I'm too. If you had said that to me like 10 years ago, I think I was still at a point 10 years ago where I would have been like kind of offended. But now I'm so open minded about people's enjoyment of art. Like there are people whose favorite artist of all time is like Brad Paisley or Luke Combs or whoever the fuck, you know, these like modern pop country artists who you know, I believe they make the worst music of all time. Like I believe I'm Still a Guy by Brad Paisley is one of the 5 worst artistic endeavors in human history. We're talking about 200,000 years of modern Homo sapiens, right? But you know what? There are a lot of people who adore him as an artist, including some family members of mine. And I'm at a point now where I'm like, you know what? Brad Paisley really resonates with them. They fucking love him. They love that song. That's okay. And you know what? Not everybody is going to like Annihilate by Trampled, for instance. Not everybody is going to like Mahler, too. Some people are going to listen to those and be like, ugh, this fucking sucks. And you know what? That's okay. There's 8 billion people on the planet, right? You're going to, you know, you're going to run the gamut. So yeah, I just like, I'm too open-minded for my own good now. I can't even get like really offended anymore. It's kind of sad.
I'm just glad I remembered Mahler too.
That was really impressive. I didn't, because I was like, when was the last time we talked about that? I don't know how you remembered that. This fucking steel trap. Valedict. The Valedict steel trap. Exactly.
You know, we say that, but then like, you know, I remember Mahler too from, you know, probably a conversation we had 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But then like, I forget something that I talked about with Sam like 6 days ago, and it's like, I don't remember that. Like, and I'm sitting here thinking like this is happening a couple times. Am I losing my mind? Because I remember everything. Like, what the fuck's going on? And it's like funny the first couple times, and then it starts getting scary. And it's like,
yeah,
like,
yeah. It's funny how memory works. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we have a lot to cover today. There's a lot to talk about. So for those who are listening, we had to miss last week. Jeremy was very annoyed. He was looking forward to our pod last week. So
but it worked out. It worked out.
Shit.
It did work out.
I owe you some books, by the way, Brother Jay. They're on that shelf right there. That's some of them right now. I will send them to you. I am so sorry.
You're gonna send him some books?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Talk about that.
So okay, cool. So yeah, we have a lot to cover. So it's October 15th. We had to skip last week. So has it been 3 weeks instead of 2? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot to cover. But before we get into the sports stuff that everybody knows we're going to talk about, should we do beers real quick?
Hell yeah.
All right. So I'll start because I talked last time, and it's, you know, one of my more controversial takes. I talked last time about how I have become pretty saturated with hazies recently. And, you know, I said that. And then, of course, I went to my local grocery store with the great beer selection last week. And, of course, they had a hazy that I had to get. And, Matt, you might have already seen me check in one of these on tap, or maybe Colin, maybe both. But I had to get 2 cans and save one for the pod. And here in Colorado, we got a shipment of Other Half Double Mosaic Dream. And those who are the diehards will remember that Mosaics are my favorite hops. And I hadn't actually had this one. I've had a few of the Other Half Mosaic kind of centered hop beers, hazies, but I hadn't had this one. And I was like, well, I fucking have to get a couple of these. And, you know, sure enough, it's excellent. Actually, when I had my first one last week, I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, but I wonder if it's because I was eating like something else I was eating it with. Right now, having it, I'm like, holy shit, it's so good. I mean, I'm still saturated on hazies, but like a Mosaic, especially from Other Half, holy fuck. I mean, just absolute top notch. So I'm definitely glad that I pulled the trigger on that one. So,
oh, very good. Yeah, I keep trying to be like, I need to drink less. Like, I'm trying to back away, and then fucking like it's Citra week, and it's like, okay, like I've been trying to resist some of their special weeks, like their Veil week and their Parish week and all that. But they're like, oh, we've got a fresh hop Citra beer. And it's like, fuck. Like, so maybe I go and just try, like, maybe I don't try all 8 new beers. Maybe I just try like 2.
Yeah. How far is the Philly other half from your place now?
Like 45 minutes.
Okay.
There's no straight way to get there. You got to like go through like a bunch of neighborhoods in the city, and it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's not terrible, but
which is okay, right? Like, I don't need to be convenient.
Yeah.
Colin, what are you drinking?
I'm also drinking other half.
Oh, nice.
Keep that going. This is my last one from Matt, and it's funny. So this is Magic Green Nuggets, and I was like, when I just busy. I couldn't look things up when I first got this from Matt, but when I saw it, I was like, I'm pretty sure I've had this before. And I was like, of course I've had it, because Matt's given it to me before, or whatever. But actually, according to my phone, the first time I ever had it was I got it at a bottle shop in Camillus last year on the day that we saw Springsteen.
Branching out bottle shop?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so I don't know if that's true or not, if I forgot to, just mark it beforehand, but it's delicious as usual. And I am not oversaturated with hazy, so send me all the hazies. What is it? A haze bro?
A haze bro.
I mean, I can send you. I've got some triples that are taking up space in my fridge right now that are delicious. But also in my fridge right now, thanks in part to my wonderful, wonderful fiance, is some Treehouse.
Oh, hell yeah! And I was going to say, you got a Treehouse glass. I wasn't sure if you had a.
Yeah, that was my subtle nod. Yep.
Yep. Nice. Okay, which one is this one, Matt?
This is called Milky Julius.
Oh,
so what
okay.
they've done is they've gone back and they've redone their water chemistry and how they process their grains and how they add basically they started from scratch and made their old recipes again to try and get it even more saturated with hops and even like more concentrated flavor. So green is my favorite like base beer of theirs. I had Milky Green the other day and it was one of the best beers I've had in a long time. It was phenomenal,
man.
So this is excellent as well. Again, I did my best. I only had Sam bring 4 4-packs back. Maybe I'll throw a couple in a box for you, Colin. But maybe not. I'm drinking them. I'm loving them too much. So
I totally fine.
Well, last thing I need is more beer. So I mean, again, I'm trying, right? So beer number 2 on deck tonight.
Hell yeah.
So
Yep. I've had that one. It's good. That's really good, I think. I mean, after Treehouse, I don't know if that's the right time to drink it. I mean, it's probably going to taste like shit after Treehouse. But
I have a jungle juiced headhunter too, just in case.
Okay. So
all 1 arm's length to my right.
For those who don't have the video, Matt showed an NA from Go Brewing, who I think I've talked about on the pod. I've become like a Go Brewing evangelist. I really love their NAs. I've had several of them now, and I'm a huge fan. And Matt was showing the Story, their double IPA, which I haven't had in a while, but I do remember having it and thinking it was really good. I've just been super impressed with everything I've had by Go. I think I've had 4 or 5 of theirs now, and I feel like it's like shockingly good. Their basic hazy that's in the stores right now is called Disarm, and if anybody's curious about like finding a good NA hazy, you wouldn't go wrong with that. Like I have had a lot of regular hazies from like decent breweries that I liked less than this NA. And we've talked about that, Matt, and well, Colin, you've had them too, but like because I always ask Matt to describe the taste, because there's a very specific flavor that we notice in subpar hazies. And how do you usually describe it? Like wet cardboard or something?
Wet cardboard is that's usually indicative of like an oxidized beer.
Yeah.
And if you've got a really saturated hazy IPA, you're more susceptible for those hop aromas.
And this Go Hazy does not have that like extra kind of yucky funk that you don't want. It tastes really good. So
I'm curious, super impressed with them. The taste I get with non-alcoholic hoppy beers is almost like a tea. To me, it tastes like tea.
Interesting.
Which isn't bad. It's just not what I'm looking for. Now, speaking of your Untapped post, did I see you also check in a non-alcoholic Guinness?
Yes. Really good.
Right?
Shockingly good. Oh my God.
It was one of those like when I was down for the count, not drinking, it was one of those like, if I had to drink this the rest of my life, like I'd be okay. Like,
Yep, same.
It you can very subtly tell, Colin. You can very subtly tell it's different. But
It's
man,
really subtle because I had I bought I wanted to do a comparison, so I bought a 4-pack of the NAs and a 4-pack of regular Guinness, in the exact same cans with the little widgets. I heard the clicking and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" I had to look it up. I almost
you didn't know
texted
that,
you
yeah. Did you
because I think I've only bought them in bottles. What's that?
So yeah, the bottles used to have a torpedo in there.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
cans you actually open and you invert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I did, and but I didn't realize I had to like look it up. I hadn't bought like a can of Guinness, I guess, and so I did it. I'll have to do them back to back because what I like literally like in the same night. Because what I did is I had the NA one night and then the regular the next night, and honestly, like really close. Like the Guinness NA, like if I did decide someday to if I said, you know what, I'm going to be sober for a while, no more drinking, like I'm going to take 6 months off or a year off or whatever, I would just like stock my fridge with like Guinness NAs and like goes. I mean, technically the goes do have a little bit of alcohol. They're up to
The
0.5%.
Guinness will technically have a tiny bit too, but
Does it? Okay, because I thought
yeah.
it said 0 on there, but
like kombucha technically maybe has some alcohol too.
Okay,
like,
yeah. But the Guinness NA, like, it's amazing. I mean, for those who like Guinness out there, you should try it. It still pretty much has like the same kind of mouthfeel. And I know we sound pretentious when we start to talk about mouthfeel, that word, but like one of the true joys of Guinness, in my opinion, is like the full body creaminess of it, right? And the NA manages to like pretty much keep that. And then the flavor is like pretty much the same. I was like blown away. And people had told me, like, Matt, I think you had mentioned that, and then the beer guy at my local store that I am friendly with, he had told me too, and I think maybe somebody else, but like really good. Yeah, so we're lucky. We're lucky to have like really good taste in NAs now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those damn Gen Zers that don't drink. No, thank you. It's not a bad thing. So,
yeah, no, true. So we have a lot of big stuff to cover. Those who know the pod know that the two dearest teams to the pod have both recently gone through some tough times. So so what do we want to start with? Which team are we starting with?
Colin, does your shirt say "We are very sad"?
It should.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the Franklin stuff out of the way.
Okay.
And instead of me going on a big long rant, I'm going to let you guys ask me questions, and I will, I'm sure, cover most of my feelings.
Have you seen the terms of his buyout?
I've seen most of it, yeah.
He is compelled to find another job in broadcasting or coaching, and Penn State is only liable for the difference between what he makes and the $49 million he's owed. Which, if I were him, I'd be petty about it. I'd be like, all right, like, you know, FS1, I'll be an analyst for $100,000 a year or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because what the fuck is it? If the net is still he's going to get his $49 million, whatever. Like, I'd be petty about it if I were him.
Yeah. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on that particular aspect, but I have seen a lot of people be like, be a high school football coach for $1 and make them pay the difference in that.
Yeah.
And everything. So,
okay.
Now,
so go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
No, you first. I said my first.
Okay. So here's something I was wondering about, and we didn't really get into this into text because I wanted to wait for the pod, because I want to give you a chance to have like a fuller answer to this. So, I think I saw he's been at Penn State for like 12 years. Did I see that?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it had been that long. So here's what I want to know. 12 years is a long fucking time to be a coach of any team at any level. That's a long time. I mean, forget about your people like Paterno. That's ancient history. People who stayed at a school for decades, right? That's not a thing in the modern world. So 12 years in the modern world is incredible. What makes this even more incredible is that Franklin, yeah, I mean, I know Bill O'Brien had a lot of success, but Bill O'Brien, didn't he only do like a year or two? 2 years. And so, and it was still, things were still kind of up and down. I mean, this was still pretty close to like all of the Paterno Sandusky stuff, right? In terms of the timeline. So now things are still pretty rough. Franklin comes in, he's there for 12 years, and he builds the program back really quickly into an absolute powerhouse. He recruits amazing players. You guys have been like routinely top 10 throughout those, well, I don't know about the whole 12 years, but certainly in the last few years. I mean, I know it goes in and out, but like the team has been really good. Yeah. To me, I look at this as an outsider, and I understand losing to UCLA, who was 1-4, and then losing to Northwestern, losing to two unranked teams when you came into the season with national title hopes. I understand for a program like that is like unacceptable or whatever. But Matt, do you want to interject?
I have a counterpoint when you're done. Keep finishing your thought.
So I understand that like that is considered to be unacceptable, but for an outsider, I look at it and I'm like, dude took over at a really fraught time in Penn State football history. He's been there for 12 years. Yes, 2 really bad losses now. But he has had a tremendous amount of success overall. And to me, it seems very unceremonious and disrespectful in the best case to fire him mid-season. And worst case, it seems like downright fucking evil almost to fire him mid-season after everything that has happened and everything he has given to that school. So I have to say, like, we had been texting about it throughout. We were texting during this UCLA debacle, like the previous week. So it didn't come as a shock to me. I knew that, like, with Penn State, that this is a possibility because of the prestige of that program. But also, like, 12 years in the context of everything he's done, to fire him mid-season, I don't know. It seems kind of messed up to me. Like, I feel like it's kind of a betrayal. Like, if I was a Penn State fan, I would feel like that is a really shitty way to treat this person who has given so much to this program. So I guess maybe Matt wants to get in his counterpoint first, but Kyle, after that, I'm curious just for your thoughts on that whole thing, because we didn't really have time to get into that in text, and so to me that's like a very interesting kind of thing. So
yeah, Matt, do you want to counterpoint first?
So I agree completely, Ethan. It is unfair to him. I think it's unfair to the student athletes, and it's not going to change any outcome for the season. It's not like a new coach is going to take them on a run that's going to get them in the college football playoff. That's not happening anymore.
Yep,
they're out. So
100%.
It feels vindictive and punitive. However, against AP top 10 teams, he is 4-21 in his tenure at the school.
True.
He's got a 160 winning percentage, which is the third lowest since 1936. Worse, against AP top 10 Big Ten opponents, he's 1-18.
Yeah, true.
So he cannot beat his. He cannot beat his peers. And Colin, I didn't realize until I read the article that it was that painful. I know you talked about getting over the hill and winning the big game. Did not realize it was that pervasive over 12 years.
Yeah, that's true. So that is really bad.
The only reason I can actually think something happened is that a donor got angry, or some donors got angry and called for his head, and the school wants to try and get momentum as they are renovating Beaver Stadium. They want to have some momentum in place for next year already, which fucking sucks for all the kids that are actually on the team now. Right. We're still going to fight because they're still going to go to a bowl, right? So, right, like they're going to go to a bowl. They're going to go to a bowl. They're going to get 3 more wins.
Although Allard's out, but
I know, like, firing the coach anyway is going to cause a mass departure to the transfer portal anyway.
Right.
So again, they're going to see upheaval no matter when it happens. And I really don't think doing it in the middle of the season gives any new coach any sort of upside to get people from the portal. Like, I don't see the advantage of it other than some person's pissed off and they're thinking the dollars and cents for next year with the renovation of the stadium.
Yeah. Well, just on the portal, I'd have to double check the facts, but I believe the new rules state that the players cannot leave until the new coach is hired.
Yeah.
So they are not going anywhere for the remainder of this season, which goes to both of your points about it being unfair to them specifically, given everything and how it's played out. But just the way that football is now, it's going to be a mass exodus, but it's also whoever comes in is going to bring a lot of people with them, like Kirk Signetti or whatever his name is. I should get to know it because he's a hot name.
Or Matt Rule. Didn't I see the Nebraska guy was one of the hot names too?
He's the one that fucking tanked in Carolina, though, right?
Yes. So very, very bad.
Why is he like? He's gotten lucky to start the season with Nebraska.
He's a Penn State walk-on under Paterno. He's not best friends, but he's very close to Pat Kraft, who's the athletic director, and he worked for Kraft when Kraft was the AD at Temple.
Is he a good coach though? Like,
I mean, they're 5-1 this year.
It's a small sample size, and he fucking bombed.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't think we have time today to really get into the coaching stuff, and I don't think we necessarily need to because nothing is going to happen until after Thanksgiving anyway.
Right.
And so it's all going to be speculation, people denying, flirting with the job or even thinking about it, yada, yada, and whatever. But, I think in a way this all worked out for us to talk about it where, I had a few days and this is where I specifically want to point out how important local journalism is. And not just in sports, but in general, when you really want to get like the deets on something. And so like Matt, you talking about, by the way, that one win was way back in 2016 against Ohio State. So it has been a long time. And I believe the 2 of the 4 wins came in the playoff last year, or at least one of them did. The game against Boise State, I believe, was one of the 4. So, yeah, it's been rough. And a lot of those games, honestly, were like the Oregon game where it was there for the taking.
Yeah, I will say, I think that record is worse than it actually, like, that paints a worse picture. Like, they weren't getting blown out, right?
Yeah,
there was a number of overtime losses
in
there.
Yeah, it just, like, could not get a lucky bounce to save our lives for whatever reason. Like, how they say things even out over time. They were not evening out. And, some of that could be attributed to coaching, right? Like, Franklin was always, so for those maybe who have been living under a rock, James Franklin, former head coach at Penn State, got fired on Sunday. And so this is what we're talking about. And so back to the local journalism, I was thinking about, okay, how do you make sense of all this and everything? And one of the beat writers was talking about how after the game on Saturday, Franklin normally goes with his wife and his youngest daughter down the tunnel when they get off the field after they do the alma mater. And he said that Franklin told them to, go ahead. He was going to hang by himself and, kind of soak it all in. So the beat writer started thinking, okay, like maybe the end is near, whatever. And then at the presser, the post-game presser, Franklin always has family, friends and everything, but he said there were a ton of people there. And then he thought to himself again, he's like, okay, maybe the end is near, and everything. And so you pair that with what Pat Kraft, who the athletic director is. So Kraft came in 2022. So that's also part of this whole, back to your point, Ethan, about being a 12-year, 11 and a half year, arc. Kraft doesn't come in until 2022. When Franklin gets hired, it's the interim AD from the whole Sandusky scandal. And then it's Sandy Barber by the time I think 2015 rolls around or so. Definitely in 2016 because she had to give some public support to him before they went on that run to win the Big Ten and everything. So there's been a few different athletic directors and everything, but at Kraft spoke during the first 15 minutes of the Monday press conference that the head coach always has. And, he simply said that we need a coach who can win us a national championship. And he just doesn't think that James is that guy, whether that's right or wrong, fair or unfair. We're not getting paid to make those decisions. Right. And there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on and everything. But given the way that Franklin reacted and given the message that Kraft gave, I'd have to imagine that because there was this whole public, we're going all in. There was the hiring of Jim Knowles from Ohio State as the defensive coordinator and everything. I'd have to think that there were talks between Franklin and Kraft about if this thing goes sideways, it's going to be just as bad as it would be good if it goes, the way that we want it to. And I don't think anyone anticipated it going this way exactly. Maybe yes, seeing that loss to Oregon, but then bouncing back and then, maybe having an opportunity to get Ohio State and reevaluate after that, whatever. But the fact that they lost 2 more games where they were 3 touchdown favorites in both games, and you put that all together and it's like, okay, you can see the logic behind it. It doesn't make it any better, but I think for me, the one thing that isn't being talked about enough, and I don't think will be talked about a lot, at least not right now. Well, there's 2 things. Ethan, you kind of started talking about this, and for the baseball people, here's the comparison. There's a chance that James Franklin is looked upon in Penn State history like a Gene Michael, like St. Michael, where he got the program to great, but they couldn't get to elite. I mean, those are Franklin's words back in 2018 when they dropped another heartbreaker to Ohio State. He's like, we want to get from great to elite, and they just could not get there. They were so close, especially last year, and they just didn't do it. So I think if someone comes in, and again, we're not going to speculate on those coachings, although I will say I just do not want it to be an old white dude. I do not want to go through the Belichick experience. Fuck Brian Kelly, fuck all these people. The only old white dudes that I'll make exceptions for are that Signetti guy from Indiana, because he seems like a guy who has literally earned an opportunity like this, going from James Madison to Indiana, and then if he was to go to Penn State, that would make logical sense, like in the terms of a coaching arc, right? And the only other one would be Saban, because he's the GOAT at college football. So one of those 2, I'll put my biases aside and be okay with it. But the other thing that I wanted to mention, and I'm curious to what your guys' thoughts are about this. It will be interesting to see not just what happens to Franklin next, like in the immediate future, but over the course of the next decade, because Franklin is a 53-year-old, but he's a 53-year-old black man. And if this was a 53-year-old white man who had the record that James Franklin does, albeit he's got the bad record against top 10 teams and everything, I just can't imagine that, he would not get another shot at, a big time program if he was white. I think he's going to get another big time shot. I think he's got a great reputation in the sport. But that is a part of it that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, because a lot of people, I think, are like us who talk about this sport and write about this sport. They're white guys. And, that part of it is really interesting to me, to see what type of opportunities a 53-year-old black man gets moving forward from this.
Right.
So yeah, those are some of my thoughts. I'm, personally, oh wow, Julio just crushed a home run.
Oh, did he?
2-0 Mariners.
Nice.
Woo. I'm sad about it because, like we've said, he did build the program up, and he was obviously more important. I mean, O'Brien was important, but Franklin took us back to that level and took us beyond probably anywhere that on a consistent basis Paterno was ever able to get us to. Maybe back in like the 70s and 80s, but that was a long time ago, right? So got us to this level. Forever grateful about it. I hope he gets a job at USC or Florida or something like that, where he can again have some good resources, because that was I guess the last thing, and then I'll stop if you guys have any other questions, or we can move on to the Yankee eulogy. But one of Franklin's things. So not only is he building up the program over the years, and I mentioned the different athletic directors, until Pat Kraft came in, football was not a priority in the sense that they were going to spend like an Ohio State, and that they were going to invest, and that they were going to do everything they could to win a national championship. So Franklin, for years, was fighting internally to get what he called alignment. And when Kraft comes in, and then with this new president, who I believe she started maybe the year after Kraft, and Franklin finally got to a point like last year where he would say, we're finally in alignment. Like, we're getting the NIL money, we're getting the money to pay coaches. I mean, they doled it out for Jim Knowles. They're getting the Beaver Stadium renovations, and everything. Like, alignment. And then it's just really interesting that those two people were the only people mentioned in the statement that came out from the university when they fired him, just to say, thanks, but, good luck in the future and whatever. So it's almost like a, careful what you wish for, type situation where, and that I think is what the saddest thing of all is. Like, not every coach wants to win, right? But James Franklin wanted to win for Penn State at Penn State. Like, he wanted it all at Penn State. And I think a lot of people thought he was going to be able to write his own ending, and he obviously didn't. And, it came pretty quickly. And here we are with an interim head coach who is a former wide receiver for the university. He was Franklin's first hire back in 2014. He's been their cornerbacks coach. Really, really great guy. Terry Smith, another black man, getting an opportunity as a head guy. And they have a new QB1 because, as you alluded to, Ethan, Drew Aller, I believe, tore his Achilles. We'll never know because they guard secrets like the mob there. But it looked like he grabbed right at his Achilles on the second to last offensive play on Saturday, and his college career, and obviously with that, his career at Penn State is over. So Ethan Grunkemeyer, a new Ethan in my life.
Ethan Grunkemeyer?
Ethan Grunkemeyer.
What a name.
Yep, is the new QB1. Just did his first scrum after practice today, actually. So I'll be catching up on that later on.
What a name. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I do have a couple things. Number one, he's Franklin, just from right up the road. He's like right by where I used to work, Langhorne, PA.
Oh, no shit.
Number two, I have to, I understand your point 100% on alignment. However, I have to call bullshit because they still had more football resources than 95% of other schools. And he went out there.
He was talking about alignment to Ohio State, to Michigan.
But it's like saying, like, Dr. Pepper doesn't have alignment on making sodas. Well, I guess they don't make a cola, but they still do. Like, they're still the third biggest company out there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think anybody was considering that they were poor.
Number three, and this is not piling shit on, but his time was not all without fraught. There was. Don't forget the controversy over forcing, or I shouldn't say forcing, but the pressure put on injured players to try and play.
Mm-hmm.
Although just to see Drew go down with, I think I saw it confirmed it was a torn Achilles. Like, that sucks. Like, that's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Number four, I know you don't want to speculate a lot on coaching, but I do have to say, I think a really good sleeper candidate for coach would be Andrew Scott. He's got tremendous leadership capabilities. You see that in 1917 when he's lieutenant, he's leading men. And he's a tactician. I mean, when he played C in Spectre, and the James, like, he's a tactician. He got all the way to the finale with subverting all of the main characters. Like, he was there and he had his plan and he was executing. So, like, maybe I don't know. Like, we're playing more football over in England now and in Europe. Like, maybe Andrew's a sleeper candidate. Just throwing it out there.
You're outdoing yourself.
Yeah,
amazing.
You had a pretty high bar the last time, if I remember correctly. So.
Yes. Amazing. Wow.
Bravo. Also, coaching candidate. I don't know if you saw Matt. Fran Brown's name has come up.
I did see that.
Oh no, shit.
Syracuse head coach. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
okay.
We'll see. We'll have time to speculate on that in the off season.
How are they doing? Is Syracuse football any good?
Yeah.
Syracuse's quarterback tore his Achilles, and since then, they have been dog shit. So
okay.
They went from, as friend of the podcast Matt Seamler said, taking the belts to Clemson to now, I don't know, have they scored a touchdown?
I don't know, but I remember saying last time we potted, I was like, are they going to get Dabo fired? And then it's Franklin. Who gets...
Yeah.
But somebody, I did see a clip. Somebody's asked Rule about the Penn State job. I know that he did gave a non-answer.
Of course.
When somebody asked Brown about it, he responded to the beat writer. He was like, "That's really disrespectful that you would ask me that." There's something along those lines.
Why is it?
These coaches, they live in their own world. You know that. Okay. Come on.
Yeah.
Matt Rule, by the way, career college record of 64-57. So.
Yeah, but he coached at Temple.
Don't say that part out loud.
And then his Baylor success is what he parlayed into getting the Carolina job. But
Franklin coached at Vanderbilt.
That's true, and he took him to 3 straight bowls and parlayed that into the Penn State job.
And Temple and Vanderbilt, come on, right? They're equivalent, right?
I know.
SEC fans out there, don't kill me.
I know. I just hope 10 years we're podcasting and we can talk about him like Gene Michael, and everything will hopefully have worked out for Penn State and for James Franklin. But unfortunately, I wanted to see him win a national championship with Penn State, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. All right. Are we on to the Yankees postmortem then?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can start. I have no idea what I'm going to say, but since I'm already talking,
here's something to get you to think about it. So, you were saying it was kind of could be downright evil to, just unfair or whatever.
Yeah, fire Franklin mid-year.
A 3-game losing streak could probably be equivalent to what? Like a 15-game losing streak that the Yankees would need to have, including a home sweep of they get swept at home by the Red Sox.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's 25% of their season, right? So imagine if they went on.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it. The percentage. So what would that be then, Matt? Like 40 game losing
40
streak.
Game. Okay, Look at you.
Yeah.
40 game.
So I think realistically speaking, though, 15 is where they'd be like, okay, we can't let this go any further.
Right.
You gotta
do something.
I don't even know if it would get to 15, maybe 12. We could probably set the under over at like 12 and a half.
That's true. Even 12 people would be like losing their shit. Actually, that's an interesting question. Like, what is our longest losing streak since like the Joe Torre years, since like Joe Torre took over? So when was that? 96, right? So what is our longest losing streak since 96? I don't know, but that's interesting. I don't think we've talked about that.
You can look it up.
Okay. Then I'll let you guys talk.
Yeah, so I'll start by saying that there's so much to say. There's a lot of different ways to kind of look at the Yankee season. So one of the things, Colin...
one important thing is that Aaron Boone is still the manager of the Yankees.
As of October 15th, he still is. And that's, I was just going to mention that. So obviously, Matt is well known on this pod for not being a big Booney fan. I tend to be a Booney defender. Colin mentioned in our text thread recently that he feels like we could maybe move on from both Boone and Cashman, that it might be a good time for that. So there's that lens to look at this at, which we will. But then there's also, I'm going to zoom out or look at it from a different lens to start. And that is to say that, like, overall, I still think it was a good year. And, these old-fashioned notions of the Yankees are supposed to win the World Series every year. They are exactly that. They are old-fashioned. There are still a lot of Yankee fans out there who believe that should be the case. But in 2025 baseball, where there are 12 teams who make the playoffs every year, it is a different world than it was, even when we were kids. And so this idea that we should go to the World Series every year is just absurd. And I think we need to sort of divorce ourselves from that attitude, first of all. And we need to be able to look at a 94 and 68 season and going into the division series and losing as like it's still a solid year. Many franchises would be happy to have this, and every franchise would be happy to have the last 30 years that the Yankees have had. We've talked about this on the pod a bunch of times before, that in our specific lifetimes as people born in 1989, we just happen to be extraordinarily lucky. I mean, we don't even remember the last time the Yankees had a losing season because it was 1993, and we were not old enough to register that. So that is unheard of in terms of being a sports fan, to just literally live an entire life. And we're in our mid-30s now. I'm turning 36 next week. So we're getting into, you guys are already in your second half of your 30s. I'm about to join you. And to be 36 and to not remember a losing season with your favorite team is already like fucking ridiculous. That's incredible. We are so goddamn spoiled. It was really funny. This is related. So somehow, I don't know how, but I managed to get Yulia, my partner, invested in the Yankees in the playoffs. She was watching the games with me. She was rooting with me. She was actually caring about it. She does not like team sports at all. She does not get the tribalism involved with being a fan of a team. She likes tennis. She likes rooting for an individual. She does not get rooting for a team. It just makes no sense to her. Somehow, I got her invested in rooting for the Yankees and everything. But she was seeing stuff online, and she was hearing these things, and like even talked to somebody, I think one of her colleagues or friends, about somebody was talking shit about the Yankees, or a podcast. I think literally it was like an NPR podcast about politics that she was listening to. And somebody was making some jokes, and like people were making fun of a Yankee fan or something. And she was like, wait, so everyone like really hates the Yankees and hates Yankee fans, right? And I was like, yes, absolutely. And I was like, Yankee fans are the worst. Colin and Matt and I are the exceptions. Of course, I said that. But anyways, my point is this: to make a long rant shorter here, it should not be viewed. This season should not be viewed as an abject failure. That's my first point. The second thing is, this is really interesting, and we didn't talk about this in our thread yet, and I want to hear what both of you think. Did you guys see when A-Rod on one of the post-game shows talked about how this was one of the worst constructed rosters he's ever seen in the playoffs or something like that? Did you guys see this? Colin, you didn't. Matt, did you? Okay. So A-Rod said basically that. I'm not even paraphrasing much. He was on the post-game with, like, you know, the one he does with like David Ortiz and Derek Jeter and on Fox. Who's the non? Is it Ravitch? Is it Carl Ravitch who does the? Whoever it is, whatever, doesn't matter. He was talking about how he thinks this roster was really, really poorly constructed, and how he thinks that Aaron Boone is the least to blame in the entire franchise. That is about the players for not performing, and it's about Cashman for putting together a terrible roster. And I can't remember all of his details, but he essentially was saying, like, you know, there's like 5 DHs and there's no really good catcher, or what. I can't remember what he said. Austin Wells is a good defensive catcher, but he mentioned like there's a bunch of DHs, blah, blah, blah. It's a poorly constructed roster. That was his point. I don't know if I entirely agree, but I did think that it was kind of an interesting, provocative point that's like worth talking about. We can get into that in a minute. I also want to say, I'm not ready. This is going to be maybe a hot take. I'm not ready to give up on Anthony Volpe. We just heard like yesterday or the day before that he is going. We just heard yesterday, the day before, that he is going in for torn labrum surgery.
He just had it today.
He just had it today. So we're talking about the labrum in the shoulder, right? I mean,
not his throwing shoulder.
Not his throwing shoulder, but that's still going to affect, either shoulder is going to affect you when you're hitting, right? He has been one of the worst hitters in baseball the last 2 years. Now, we don't know how long this injury has been happening, but I'm willing to give him one more year after this surgery, because a shoulder injury can totally fuck you. Now, he was atrocious at the plate this year, and especially in the playoffs. What did he end up going? 1 for 15 with 11 strikeouts in the playoffs? I mean, it was
And more
embarrassing.
strikeouts than that. I think it was like 13 or 14.
It was embarrassing. I felt horrible for him watching it. It was just absolutely awful. I'm willing to give him one more year because of that. Like when you have these big injuries like this, it's like, okay, clearly he was playing through something. He might still suck, right? 2024, he might have been healthy and he still sucked as a hitter, right? But I just want to say, like, when you are really horrible and then immediately after the season, you hear that the player is going to get like a major surgery, I think it's worth it to like be like, okay, maybe we didn't have all the facts and maybe we need to give them just a teeny bit of grace. I don't know. Yeah.
There was another hitter on the team that had a major surgery after the end of the year. He's going to win the MVP this year.
Wait, what surgery is he getting?
He may.
He had it already.
What was it?
I thought Judge already had his surgery.
Did he? I didn't hear about this.
Google.
Okay, well, Matt's looking that up.
Well, let me say one more thing. The other thing is that in the playoffs, no one showed up except for Aaron Judge and Cam Schlittler. And you're not going to win a playoff series when that's the case. So anyways, sorry. I know I threw out a lot of thoughts there. I probably should have gone one at a time. Kyle, go ahead. Say whatever.
Longest losing streak in our lifetime is 9 games in 2023. That matches 1982, and then the longest in franchise history is 12 games in 1908. So,
wow,
and he's
very good for a long time.
Yeah,
Judge did not have surgery. He's still debating elbow surgery. My
on his elbow. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Wait, was that what was hurt coming into is that what he hurt in the middle of the year? Was the elbow?
Yeah, that's why his throwing velocity was.
For some reason, I was thinking it was shoulder. Okay, all right, it was elbow.
It's elbow. The Volpe thing. You may be right, but they need to have a plan. They need to have a.
I agree with that. They do need to have a plan B.
He may not even be ready for opening day. They hope he's going to be ready for opening day. That's what the announcement said today. But you know how these rehabs go.
Yeah,
so
no, totally agree.
They will not. I can almost guarantee they will not get through this offseason without having some type of backup plan for that. Whether that's internally or signing another shortstop, there will be somebody to push Anthony Volpe or be the starter while Volpe is ramping back up. And I do think he will get one more shot, but it can't be he can't have a leash like he did this year. It just you can't do that again.
Yeah.
The one interesting thing that I'll say, I've taken a lot of airtime and I'll let Matt go. I do agree, Ethan. Obviously, this was a good season, and we should be happy about it. And there's things that we should celebrate. And Judge is gonna hopefully win his 3rd fucking MVP, which is
I don't think he's gonna, but that's a different conversation. He should, but I don't think he's going to.
You don't think he's gonna now?
I think he should, but I think Raleigh's going to win.
Wow. Okay.
I just think that narrative is strong, and I think the voters are just going to be too excited about a good, a Mariners team in the playoffs and a switch hitting catcher hitting 60 home runs. I feel like he's going to win, but maybe I'm wrong. I think Judge deserves it. Yeah, I know it happened before the playoffs. It'll be really interesting to see. Anyways, continue.
Yeah. Well, so while I do agree with that point, about it being a good season, the point I made in the text about the abundance, I was saying to Matt and Ethan, like, I just want them to have an abundance mentality where you're seeing it play out right now in real time with the Dodgers.
Yes.
The Yankees can absolutely spend the amount of money that the Dodgers do. And right now, because Hal and Cashman are in lockstep about how they want to go about the payroll, you're not seeing that get pushed. So you're seeing a lot of, the stopgap or, to A-Rod's point, maybe, these weird acquisitions and everything.
Austin fucking Slater.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot of that, which, to Yankee fans, yes, we need to divorce ourselves from the fact that they're not going to win the World Series every year. But I think there is a way to operate a little bit more evil empire. Yes. And that's where I think, Cashman can stay in the organization in an advisory role or something like that. I think obviously he's earned that right and that opportunity. But if you want to, go give Boone one more run with a new GM, do it. But that GM's just going to do what Pat Kraft did to Franklin. Eventually, when things get bad, he's going to fire him. So,
Yeah.
I say he, it could be a she, but
Right.
it's just that's where, like, I think if I have a frustration about things is I'm seeing what's going on with the Dodgers right now. And the Dodgers had some bleak moments this season. Let's be honest about that. It looked pretty bad a couple times. But right now, and I told you when we potted last time, don't fuck with that magic that they have right now. They look dangerous. And they are pitching well. They are hitting well.
Yep.
Everybody is healthy. And it is all because they had the opportunity to just get through that slog of a season, fend off the Padres, and now they're like, okay, let's turn it on with this monster roster that we built with this monster payroll, and let's go run it back. Let's do it again and everything. So that's where I want to see maybe some innovation, maybe some changes. I don't like the stopgaps anymore. Like, it was cute for a while. It was interesting to see like how Cashman was taking advantage of these market inefficiencies and yada yada and everything, the Luke Voits of the world, coming in
Agreed.
and whatever. But I'm tired of it. Like, I want someone who's going to push ownership the way that AJ Preller does for the Padres, and everything. Like, I want someone who's going to vocalize the fact that we're not. Just because we trade prospects doesn't mean we're depleting the farm like we did in the 80s, in the early 90s. Like, Jason Dominguez, they were talking about this on the podcast. I don't know if you heard it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I have said, how long have I said that the prospect cradling drives me crazy?
Yep, long time.
It makes no sense to think that you are the Yankees and you cannot develop another Jason Dominguez. Like, they're not Mickey Mantles. Like, these players that are coming through the organization, like, hype them up like that so you can get a good return, on your investment. But just fucking send them off and let it be. If they turn into Fred McGriff, if they turn into Jay Buhner, who really has panned out, recently that the Yankees have traded? Yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Neither. Yep.
King, but he wasn't a prospect.
Yeah.
So, I'm like that. That's where I want, I think, a philosophy change, and it goes against everything that I wrote in the book, right? But it's not an opinion. That's just fact. That is how Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner operate.
Hal is more interested in running it like a business instead of running it to win.
Yeah, and so that's where I'm saying, like, maybe a new general manager would be vocal enough and have enough cachet to push Steinbrenner to get out of his comfort zone, right? To stop being so fiscally financial. Not be like George and, go crazy and burn it all down in the process. But what the Dodgers blueprint, I think, is a sustainable thing that the Yankees, that the Mets, that, and that's, why there's a lot of angst about the current CBA and the work stoppage potentially coming up next year. But maybe that's what they're waiting for too, right? See what happens with that CBA, and then go through all the changes after a lost season or whatever it ends up being. But I just want some philosophy changes. I think is the biggest thing I'm looking for.
I have not verified this, but I saw some stat that said in the history of the Yankees, no manager has made it longer than 5 seasons without winning a World Series. And Boone is on season number what?
2018 was his first.
8.
5 seems low. Is that right? Maybe that's right.
Yeah, because you'd have to think. I mean, before 23, none of those guys won a World Series. Who were managing the Yankees?
Yeah.
And then since then, they've rarely had. They only had the 16-year period between 81 and 96. But before that, there was 64 to 77.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still don't think Boone's the number one guy. And I know we've talked about before on this podcast what's the actual level of control that he does have, but still, there continue to be tactical guffaws that are inexcusable, they're not made by other winning managers.
It would be really interesting to know if that is a result of the weird roster construction, or if that is just who Aaron Boone is as a manager.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, but like even the taking Freed out in game 1 of the wild card, the not starting Jazz or Ben, right? Like some of those just like ugh. Like,
yeah, but again, I don't the set lineup thing. I do not for a second think was Boone's call. Maybe the Freed thing, but I
think it's his job to push back.
Yeah, again, that is where I just think the three of them are so in lockstep about things that they're just like, okay, let's do it. We're the Yankees. Like,
I believe that term is called groupthink.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just tired of it.
Now, speaking of prospects, we were recently at the top of a poll for prospects in the minors. We have the number 1 ranked prospect managerial prospect.
Oh, I saw this.
Shelley Duncan. Shelley No Chin looks like Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Shelley Duncan.
Uh-huh.
But we talked about his pedigree, right? It's his dad, Dave Duncan, managing and playing, right? Like, I didn't realize he had that pedigree, but my dad still always refers to him as Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Hilarious.
Well, wait, did Dave manage?
I thought Dave Duncan managed.
I know he was like a big time pitching coach for the
maybe coach, but not
for the Cardinals, right?
So that was one, and then I think we're kicking ourselves if we don't also take a hard look at Andrew Scott. I mean, really, like as Moriarty, he outsmarted Sherlock. I mean, tactically, he is sound. I think
true.
He is smart enough that he can just. I mean, what are they playing with? Rounders, like rounders, baseball. Like he has got this. Like we need to take a big swing.
His Moriarty is one of my favorite things ever. He was amazing as Moriarty.
Well, and if I'm gonna get this line wrong, and I'm gonna be unforgivable, like if someone fucks up, he's just gonna pull him down into the tunnel and say he's gonna eat their heart.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yep. Uh-huh.
And I mean, if you get that look, like from your manager, you're playing well. Like you're gonna fix your shit.
That's right.
So yeah.
Oh man, that's true.
I think that is great, Matt, that you got that in twice. I will say that.
It hit me while I was driving for work last week. I was like, I gotta do this.
Yep. Shout out to Sam. I think the one thing that is maybe unspoken between the three of us, but is well known, that is most frustrating about everything, is the very real fact that they may be wasting the prime of Aaron Judge. And maybe he wins World Series on the back end of that deal, right? They have a new core that comes in, but he's not Aaron Judge anymore, right? Like that part of it, I think, also just like sits wrong, not just for Yankee fans, but I think for baseball fans in general. Like there's just something poetic about, the best player for the Yankees, a generational player in baseball, at that.
Yeah.
Of course, Bonds never got one, and Ted Williams never got one. Plenty of players never got one.
Trouty has only played in one series and seems very unlikely to play in another.
Yeah, so, it is what it is. But I think there's that part, again, whether it's unspoken between the three of us or not, but I'm saying it out loud now.
It's frustrating, right? Because, I mean, Judge had an MVP season. Fried and Rodon had years to live up to their contracts, right?
They were great.
Jazz went 30-30. Rice had a breakout year. Belly
was great.
At a Soto-ish level for most of the year.
Yep.
Ish. I say ish. Right?
Grisham
hit 30 home runs. Like, we had, like...
a lot of really good years. Stanton was really good when he played.
Yeah, Stanton for his half a season put together some great numbers.
Yep. They just lacked depth. They lacked bullpen.
Yep.
Things that, money, that's where the money gets you what you need, right? The depth pieces, the bullpen pieces. And
well, the thing that's frustrating about that is that, and I said this, right, when we talked a couple of weeks ago about my concerns about the playoffs was the bullpen. And it's frustrating because Luke Weaver was so good last year and I feel like he was good the year before, but this year was just really hit or miss. And then Devin Williams, who was the best reliever in baseball for the last 3 years, was absolute garbage this year. And he was supposed to be our huge acquisition, And so for that to happen, that's just shit luck, right? I mean, that's like when we got Sonny Gray. Well, I don't.
How many times are we gonna apply luck to it? It's like the whole Franklin thing, right? Like
right. Well, shit luck in terms of the fact that like Cashman goes out and gets these players who are really good. Your Sonny Grays, your Javier Vasquez's, your Devin Williams's, and then they come to New York and they fucking suck.
Evaluating them from a mental perspective.
Yeah, how do you? I don't know what you do, but yeah.
I wrote a whole thing in my book about how they did that with Judge before they drafted him. So at least for their prospects and everything, they're doing it. I can't imagine that they wouldn't do it for. It's got to be harder maybe to get that access or whatever. But like, I don't know. I think that's a big miss in the organization if they're not mentally making sure that
something is happening. Yeah, 'cause that's a good point because this has happened I think too many times over the last couple of decades where we go and we get these players who are so good for other teams and then suck for us. But then, you know what, if we were talking to Mike Schur, he would offer as a counterpoint all of the nobodies who come to the Yankees and then are amazing for a half a season. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. I don't know, but we obviously have a lot of other baseball stuff that we're not going to get to tonight. Albert Pujols might be
that's right.
by the next time we pod.
Really interesting.
The World Series will be maybe over by the time we pod again, or at least close to being over. Yeah. Right now, both series are 2-0 to the road teams, who are both going home to the West. So we'll see, how that all turns out. But Alex Bregman is expected to opt out. Belly has already opted out. So free agency isn't.
Kyle Tucker
talked about before.
Was a free agent, right? Kyle Tucker.
Yep, Kyle Tucker. Yeah.
And I mean, I think he was hurt and had a really rough last couple months of the year. But if he gets healthy, he is super underrated and one of the best players in the game. Like I'd love to see him in pinstripes.
Yeah.
Even though he was a fucking Astro, but
yeah, we'll have plenty of baseball stuff to go through and catch up on and everything. But you guys got any shout outs before we let the listeners finally get back to their day?
I have two, actually. So, I try not to eat my favorite hot fries anymore because I try to avoid UPFs. And I found a new snack that is, I think, still probably a UPF, but I think it's like a little bit less processed. It's not as bad as hot fries, but I'm really loving them. I was munching them like crazy this whole time. So a shout out to Pop Daddy Pretzels hot sauce flavor. They're really fucking good. Yeah, I just started getting them a couple of weeks ago. They're really good. I love them. And then my other shout out is so today's October 15th, which is my parents' 37th wedding anniversary. And they've been together for more like 44 years, but today is their official wedding anniversary. So pretty fucking impressive. 37 years marriage, 44 years together. Especially if you know my mom. And I feel like I can say that because my mom and I are extremely close. We have a very stereotypical Jewish mother and eldest son relationship. So I feel like I can get away with saying that. But I feel like she would not be the easiest person to be married to for 37 years, as much as I adore her and hold her in high esteem. So happy anniversary to Jim and Shari.
Happy anniversary, Jim and Shari. I'll have to toast you next time I'm up in in Connecticut for work.
Yes.
I don't know if I've got any specific shout outs, but I went to Duff's Famous Wings
Oh.
for the first time last week. Shout out to Duff's Wings. Great wings, but I have to say they were very for $1.50 a wing, which is what you charged me. Actually, it was $1.60 a wing. They were very small.
Bummer.
Flavor excellent, crisp excellent, very small.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
got
annoying.
out with a warning.
I'll give a shout out to brother Dan and sister-in-law Kayla. I'm an uncle again as of yesterday.
Holy shit! I didn't know they were expecting another.
Well, then you're way out of the loop.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. Okay, wow. What's the name of the new one?
Abby.
Abby. So they've got Sadie and Abby now.
Yep. S&A,
Okay.
just like we have
Man,
Stella and Aria.
Yeah.
you gotta get on Timmy to have a grandson for your mom and dad.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We've this might be it. We'll see. But
I mean, I'm all for girl dads. You and Dan will be great girl dads. Well, you are a great girl dad. But,
thank
you.
Dan, but man,
yeah, it's wild though with all the boys that I grew up with in my family, and my mom having 5 brothers and then having 3 boys, and
this is Penn. Your mom's finally like,
oh yeah. I mean,
that's really funny.
I mean, she was probably like that when Stella was born. I can't even imagine what she's like now, times 4.
Yeah, right. Well, Mazel Tov to
a lot of life events
to Danny and Kayla. That's wonderful. I didn't know. Okay, amazing.
Yeah. Right. Well, boys, we did it.
We did it.
Another podcast.
Yep. Sweet.
Oh.
Hey, there's Toddy.
What's up? I heard you wrapping up, so I figured I would say, hey.
We're wrapping up.
Are you still recording?
You want to do the We Are?
Oh, I don't know.
Do it.
We are.
I'm too sad.
I got a text today saying, I'm sorry about the Penn State season. Like, I haven't watched the game yet, but maybe that's the problem.
It is the problem.
I'm too busy watching our children so that you can peacefully watch.
It's not peaceful.
It's as close to as peaceful as you're going to get.
Amazing.